So I'm going to be talking to you with Jordan today a little bit about direct mail. I want to start off just by asking the room, who here is familiar with direct mail by concept? Okay, cool. Who here has executed a direct mail campaign in the past? Couple of hands, okay. And who here is actively managing direct mail on behalf of their client portfolio? Brendan, my man, thank you. Well, Jordan and I are here today to hopefully change that, get a few more hand raises by the time that we're here next year. And who am I to be talking to you about this, and who is this stud who flew all the way from Spain to talk about it with me?
Thank you.
So I'm Ben. I lead global partnerships here at Postpilot. We are the fastest growing direct mail platform for Shopify, e-commerce, and retail brands. And joining me is one of our fantastic partners and a friend of mine, Jordan O'Connor, the founder of Retention for Brands. Jordan, anything you want to say about yourself?
No, just excited to be here and share more about direct mail and what we've been doing for clients.
Awesome. So let's paint a bit of a picture for everybody, right? We're talking about AI, and the topic of AI slop has come up a few times in some of the previous presentations. If we think about the general digital ecosystem today, we think about digital fatigue, digital noise, right? All of those amplified by AI slop. If we think about the challenges that our clients face with increasingly unpredictable ad costs and ad structures, more challenges in how we're building targeting for our clients on platforms like Meta, we very quickly understand why our brands and why, on behalf of our brands, we are seeking out these alternative channels, including channels like CTV and, of course, direct mail. And when we look at direct mail under a microscope and we see the benefits of this channel, right? Let's take, for example, email. At best, right, for our previous buyers, our customers who have already bought from us and love us and know us, likely for our best email campaigns, we're going to get between maybe a 20 to 40% open rate. Everyone's checking their mailbox, whether it's today, tomorrow. Eventually, they're going to check it, and when they see a brand that they know and they love in their mailbox with a personalized postcard, whether they keep that or not, it's going to be seen. And we know for those buyers that do keep that postcard, it's typically staying in their home, on their counter, maybe magneted on the fridge for up to 17 days. So when you think about the impact there, it's pretty hard to compare. And I want to share a quick story that really puts the consumer perception of direct mail into focus for you all. So we recently had a collectibles brand send out a postcard campaign to previous buyers. The objective of this campaign was, of course, to bring those buyers back on site, purchasing again. Now, what we saw was that postcard, it didn't just end up on the counter, it didn't just end up on the desk, on the fridge, it ended up listed on eBay. And it wasn't just listed on eBay, it sold on eBay for $20. Just to put that into perspective, these cost between 60 to 80 cents to send. That is unbelievable. I'm sorry, you will never see a piece of email marketing, SMS, a paid ads listed and sold on eBay. And so, if you're not convinced, let's dig a little deeper and let's show you how easy it is to get this up and running. I want to throw it over to you, Jordan, to put into context, what did this look like for Retention for Brands and your team to actually bring direct mail to your clients?
Yeah, so we didn't really plan for this to happen. And we had one of our biggest clients was pushing really big Q4. They were actually pushing $1 million day and even beyond. So they were growing rapidly, and they came to us and said, hey guys, can you run direct mail? And we're just yes men. We're like, sure, we'll do it. Obviously, biggest client, we got to make sure that we can over-deliver here. So we figured it out. And then we looked at what are options for direct mail, and we obviously went to Postpilot, and they handled everything from design, integration, strategy, communication. And then from there, we just started to roll it out across all clients. And now this is, a big part of our ongoing services. We even rebranded our agency because of it. We used to be called Email for Brands, and we actually renamed our agency to Retention for Brands. And it's really a big part of what we do now. For our current clients and for new clients coming in, we really leverage this as a sales asset to get more people on board.
Unbelievable. He renamed his agency just for me. Thank you, Jordan. So super quick here, for those of you who may not be as familiar with Postpilot, so we have modernized direct mail. We've made it easy for modern e-commerce and retail brands to launch and scale the channel. How do we do this? We directly integrate with their existing tech stack, so Shopify, Klaviyo, we have native Zapier integration, we integrate with Amazon. We do the full process for them, so we have in-house account management, in-house design, works with our agency teams to execute. We own and operate our own fulfillment. It's a huge advantage, right? If you are putting your brand in the hands of your customers so they can see it and feel it outside of the product itself, you want to make sure that's high quality, right? So end to end, we own that process. We have a fulfillment center in London, United Kingdom, that serves the UK market. And then everything is closed loop attribution. So because of our native e-commerce integrations, we can actually show you the real performance on a live ROI dashboard. And this was historically one of the biggest black boxes with this channel. So we have made it feel and look like a digital channel to the user, but of course we're taking advantage of the offline channel itself. I'm gonna throw it back to you, Jordan. I would love to hear, for a brand that's just getting started, what are the 5 campaigns that you would get them started with today?
Yeah, so really simple, like the goal for us is to really figure out like what is the campaign that is going to drive the best results for the client, because we want to make sure we can over-deliver here straight away so we can do this consistently month over month. As a lot of people might just hop in, do this one time, get okay results, but we want to make sure that we can over-deliver here. So we always start with a win-back. So this is with customers that have already purchased, just making sure they can come back and buy again. And we do always recommend going off data here on what does the data show us on when customers actually come back. I'd say every single campaign that we do, the first one that we do will always have a win back. So that's number 1 that we do. Next is unsubscriber retargeting. So a lot of the time you'll have people that will unsubscribe from email, unsubscribe from SMS, or maybe you're trying to get your bill down and you even manually suppress them. So a lot of the time we'll send a direct mail here to get people to re-engage again. And a lot of the time you'll see it in Klaviyo, you'll see that they didn't open. They get that piece of direct mail, and then they start re-engaging with emails. They go back onto the site, and then they're back in that life cycle, which is really important. Next is high AOV abandoned cart or abandoned checkout. So we want to make sure that they actually go through the full flow inside of Klaviyo, go through SMS, and if they don't convert, but they have a much higher AOV, then we want to send them a direct mail. And you can get pretty fun with this as well, but this is really good for brands that have that high AOV. Next is the cross-sell sequence, similar to win-back. Once again, the most important thing here is to go off of the data. What does the data tell us on when they buy product X? What is the next product that they buy, and what is the timeline for that? So we make sure that we send out these direct mails, and we can obviously start with campaigns. So you can start with one-off sends. Once that works, then you can automate that, so this is running in the background all the time. And then the last one is really for building brand, is the new customer welcome. We always say that you get one chance to make a good first impression, so we want to make sure that we over-deliver the customer experience, if this is from a handwritten note or different details about the brand or a catalog. We want to make sure that we deliver that amazing first impression for the customer. And then just one more thing. These are like the first 5, but there's a lot more that you can do, from site matching to even acquisition now with Postpilot. So this is just like the start, and there's a lot more that you can do once you roll this out.
Yeah, it's a great call out, and these campaigns crush. This is an easy starting point, and I think what everyone can see is that it's very much in line with the strategies you're already running across digital, right? Email, SMS. This is an amplification, a supplement to those existing campaigns. And the one thing that I'll call out, like, thank you for calling out, like, yeah, the site match and all the additional expansion opportunities from there. One of the really cool things that we see in a lot of this, right? We see like unsubscriber retargeting, we see a new customer welcome. The cool thing about direct mail is that we actually don't need explicit opt-in to send a postcard. So if you have people that have opted out of digital marketing, you can still retarget them with a piece of direct mail, and that applies for both the US and UK market. So quite a bit of potential there. Hopefully the cogs are turning as far as, hey, how can we bring this to a client and deliver immediate value with that in mind? Jordan, you wrote an amazing playbook for both agencies, and yeah, of course, for both agencies and your clients on how to get started with direct mail. Obviously, some of those campaigns were included in that. You also talk about the 1% rule. Could you explain to the room what the 1% rule is?
Yeah, so the reason why we came up with this, it was actually hard for us to get our clients to use direct mail, even though it's getting an amazing return. So we'll show them, 3x, 4x, 5x, even up to a 10x or more on some campaigns. And clients are still skeptical. Oh, I don't know, how much do I have to spend? So we're like, how can we sell this to them in the most simplest format? And for us, that's just a 1% rule. This works for our clients anyway, based on their revenue amount. And we're like, you don't have to spend a bunch of money. Let's just take 1% of last month's revenue, and let's take that as a test. Okay, now you do want to make sure that that's the baseline, as we always want to spend more money. Okay, so you don't want to just dip your toe and spend a couple of thousand, like 1K, 2K. You know, most clients will start around 5 or 10 grand based on like that 1% of their revenue, because the more that we send or the more that we spend, the more data we're going to get, the better that feedback loop is, and the quicker we can start automating a lot of this stuff. And once again, start with the win back. You don't want to be, starting with even the acquisition or anything like that. Get proof of concept. Start with the customers that have the highest LTV, customers that have purchased many times, and then really just start there with that low-hanging fruit. So you can have that high return, show that to the client, and then roll it out then and make sure that you automate all of this.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thanks, Jordan. And the reality is here, right? When we talk about your approach to this channel as an agency, there's so much opportunity. I mean, we're talking about the opportunity, right? Building an AI today. Direct mail, realistically, based of course on the hands that were raised today, is a new service line for pretty much all of you. And so there's a massive, massive opportunity here and a gap that you can fill as far as bringing this into your existing service portfolio and really opening up opportunity to expand. How can you actually make money on this, right? So of course, if we are introducing direct mail as a service, there's potential, right, for you to include or advance your monthly retainer structure. Of course, here at Postpilot, we've got Drew here in the audience who manages our agency program, and so we do have the opportunity, of course, to make money directly from us. We also have our Mail Masters program, which is a certified agency program. Jordan is a Mail Master certified agency, and that will allow you to actually take business from Postpilot, where our sales team, including folks like Ethan, are closing deals. We're handing that to our agencies to help you scale, and then of course you can sell in additional service lines and service structures to those clients. So quite a bit of potential here. Jordan, maybe you can just share a little bit about what it's looked like inside your own agency.
Yes, I know we're pushing time here, but really quickly, like, our goal is how can we number one, reduce the cost to acquire a customer for our clients? How can we deliver that better experience for the customer? And how can we increase that LTV? And really, Postpilot helps with all that stuff because we now do the acquisition, the mail matching. We deliver that experience through the new customer welcome, and obviously driving up the LTV as well. So that's a big focus for us. Obviously, inside of our agency then, that's driving up our MRR. We use it as a sales asset on the front end to make sure that we can get people in. We've even signed a lot of clients that came through just for direct mail, and we've taken over their full retention program. And also, it doesn't really require any extra work. You don't have to hire any new people. Your account managers can manage all of this. You can also get Postpilot to manage all of this. And design in direct mail is the very same as an email. Really, you can use Figma, copywriters can do it. So it's very, very simple. So for us, really, it's a no-brainer, and it's probably one of the services that we've been pushing the most over the last year.
And you shared a pretty awesome stat with me.
Yeah, so when we were looking at the data, for the dozen or so brands that have actually got started with Postpilot, we actually haven't had any of those clients churn. None. So for us, it's like, how can we get every single one of our clients on this, because then we'll be able to build an even better agency. But yeah, it's great. So I actually only figured this out 2 days ago when I was building the slides with Ben.
Thank you for preaching it on my behalf, Jordan. I appreciate that. So what does it look like to pitch this to your first client this month? We have a couple days left in the month, so everyone ready to get started tonight. Very straightforward. Pick your first client. We can work together. Drew and myself, happy to look through your client list. We can start with an existing Postpilot client, so we'd love to do this with agencies for the first time. We can expand their account since we are a channel partner. Of course, there's always opportunity for clients to be spending more and testing more. So we can work on an opportunity like that, or we can find a good fit in your existing client list. Apply Jordan's 1% rule, so we can figure out how much we want to spend on that initial test using Jordan's structure and framework. Setting up with Postpilot, one-click integrations, obviously full automation integrations, and then of course full fulfillment done by our team, super straightforward, account management and design. And then we are going to show the performance, show the returns, and scale from there. So this is super straightforward. We'll make it easy. Just reach out to myself, Ben at postpilot.com, or Drew Hart at postpilot.com, or Jordan, if you want to learn a little bit more about it from the agency angle, Jordan at Retention for Brands. Thank you, everybody. Excited to share a pint later.
Let's go. Thank you so much.